How you doing today, Miss Alston?
I am well.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
So my name is Janay Alston, and I am currently serving as the Director of Counseling, Advising, and Career Planning here at Milwaukee Area Technical College. I am a new member of this institution. I've been here about 8 months now. Prior to my role here, I served as the Director of Recruitment and Retention Programs at UW Whitewater. Prior to that, I worked in the Academic Advising Center as an advisor for the Pathway for Success program. And prior to that, I served as an advisor for our general population. And I was at Whitewater a total of 7.5 years. I also had the opportunity to lead student groups abroad to South Africa and teach in the social work department, courses including human behavior and the social environment too.
So you have a long, outstanding history in education.
Yes, my entire career for the most part has been in higher education. Before I started working in higher education, I worked in the K-12 system as a mental health specialist in Ohio. And that really was the start of my interest to work with college students. Having worked with high school students and seeing the different challenges and barriers to pursue a post-secondary degree, I wanted to be effective on the other side and work with students who were coming through the doors with similar challenges and help them iron things out, receive the support and resources they needed to be successful.
So as I know, and a lot of other people know, you're very well known in the Whitewater community, past and present. Please, can you let us know how you came to Whitewater, including undergrad?
Absolutely. So I actually went to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and I was there all of 3 weeks. I felt like a number, and I was uncomfortable, and so I remember calling home asking my family to pick me up because I wanted to be closer to home. And I remember meeting Rob Gansky when I was in high school, and he had talked to myself and others about coming to UW Whitewater, but again, I had made a decision to go somewhere else. So I had come back to Milwaukee a week before Whitewater started classes. I contacted Rob Gansky in admissions and requested his assistance to help me get everything I needed in order to start classes on time back in 2005. And he was able to make it happen. And so that's what led me to coming to Whitewater, was a decision that did not make me feel comfortable. But circling back around to someone I remember coming to recruit at my high school, and I'm so glad I made that decision. I made the decision to come back and work for Whitewater because of my positive experiences I had at UW Whitewater as an undergrad student. All of my experiences were not positive by any means, but the positive moments made it worthwhile to come back and make more positive memories with students like me.
Would you say that the positive and the negative kind of served as it developed you in a way, and that had a positive impact on your life, and that's why you stayed?
Absolutely. There were some trying times. Some of my negative experiences led me to believe I did not belong at that campus. It led me to believe that I was not worthy of pursuing a post-secondary degree. But there were mentors like Dr. Roger Pulliam, Dr. Elizabeth Olasola, Miss Frida Briscoe, Shirley, and Financial Aid. These are individuals who took me under their wing to say, hey, there's a better way, there's an alternative, there's a path for you. I remember meeting Dr. Richard McGregory and him opening up the entire idea about research, and I never knew what that entailed beyond writing a paper and knowing that I could be paid for doing something that I was interested in learning more about. And so all of those opportunities, coupled with just having the grit to get through all of these adversities beyond the classroom, was honestly what kept me in Whitewater and gave me the strength to come back, because that was a tough decision to come back to a place where it was not always a positive experience.
So you shared about how at some moments you might not have felt like you belong in Whitewater, but there were people in your life that kind of helped you, feel comfortable there. Can you please tell us, going off of that, what was the African American experience like while you were there?
When I was in school, it was so different than what I've recently seen. We were such a close-knit community, and a lot of the individuals that I met through organizations like the Black Student Union, the Social Work Student Organization, Gospel Choir, Ignite, we are still friends to this day, and some of us are colleagues across different disciplines. We are leaning on each other for different community support. And I always tell people, Whitewater develops some of the best leaders of color who are out in the world doing phenomenal things, and I'm just so grateful to see many of them back in the Milwaukee community, giving back to areas in which we grew up in, and going back to Racine and Beloit, and becoming teachers and politicians, and these are individuals who came from UW Whitewater, and I feel that all of that is owed to administrators like Dr. McGregory, Dr. Pulliam, Dr. Dennis Baskin, who really poured into students and would not allow failure to be an option or allow us to just go off of the path and not make it to graduation.
What was one profound moment that occurred during your college days involving African Americans that has stuck with you to this day, and why? And this can be personal or it can be an account.
I remember there was a hate incident that took place on campus, and I automatically assumed that there were going to be a lot of students of color coming together to do respond in a way that we probably should not respond, whether it was vandalism or responding back with just hateful words. But instead, the community of students of color, not just Black students, but Latino students, Southeast Asian students, all coming together and involving leadership to say, hey, is there anything we can do to respond in a professional way? Is there anything we could do to respond in a way that, make sure our voice is heard and not react the way they want us to? And I remember coming to a BSU meeting and all of us coming together to write a letter that, essentially went up to the chancellor about our grievances and things that we had experienced as students of color on campus. So I would say that was probably one profound moment, because again, those incidents had been taking place and still is. But I remember one huge incident that really sparked the attention of a lot of students on campus and community members as well.
Which is preferred to you, Black or African American?
I like to refer to myself as Black. To me, African American is the politically correct way to communicate to someone who's Black. Black to me is the unapologetic way of saying, I'm here and I'm here to stay. I am me unapologetically. I am not the statistics that research says I am. I am not who you think I am. I am not the intentional and unintentional biases that are, controlling the world today and the decisions that are being made. So personally, I refer to myself as Black, and I don't, have a problem with others referring to me as Black, because I'm a proud Black woman.
How do we build community?
You have to start with trust. A community cannot rely on each other, support each other if you don't trust each other. And with everything that is spiraling in the media, a lot of systematic barriers, a lot of historical incidents, it really has broken the trust in so many communities, not just the Black community. And that's why it's so hard, for example, the Black culture to support each other, because there's no trust there. There's no trust that, you know, that you're going to provide great customer service, or if I give feedback about your business, that it's going to be well received. So in order to avoid all of that, I'm just going to, you know, shop with a different merchant who may not look like me. But not thinking that, hey, I need to recycle the Black dollar back in my own community to make sure that your doors is able to stay open, that you're able to pay your taxes to have this business up and running. And so I think because there's so much broken trust, and then people are just not being well informed about the decisions they make, that plays a part in it too. Because I think a lot of people assume that, you know, some of these businesses are, you know, being created without all of the hard work and all of the different barriers that, you know, are going into creating a business. So I often keep that in mind when I am shopping and spending my hard-earned money. I prefer to spend Black. That's how I like to put it. From food to different you know, just hygiene products, if I can find it at a local smoke shop or a Black-owned gas station, even though you're going to pay $1 or $2 more, I know that that dollar is going back into my community in which I live, and I would like to see those businesses be successful.
What are some of your proudest achievements while you were at UW Whitewater?
I would say, aside from being named the homecoming queen for the Black Student Union 2006, I would say being selected as the student commencement speaker in 2009. The process of being selected as the student commencement speaker was challenging, and definitely for a lot of students of color. It was not a lot of students of color who were given that opportunity to be able to be the student commencement speaker at graduation. I knew that a lot of students of color were not historically selected for that opportunity, and so I knew there was some challenges there. But I gave it my all and reached out to some of my mentors for support and help to write my speech, and being selected for that was such an honor to be able to sit on the stage and next to the chancellor and other campus leadership, and meet awesome people beyond that, just from having that opportunity as a student commencement speaker.
Who is your most influential African American in history or currently, and why?
There are so many different historical leaders that I feel that I have to tap into every day. It's so cliche for me to choose several historical, you know, leaders. I would like to honor and pay homage to those who are here now making change. You know, I think about Dr. Pulliam all the time. You know, this is, you know, someone who has gone through many challenges to do what's right for students and be a voice for students. That's someone who I look up to every day. That's someone who I think about often when I become frustrated in the work that I do, because it's exhausting. I think about Dr. O and all of the things she has gone through as a woman of color in leadership. Ms. Briscoe and all of the sacrifices she's made for students to see them through their programs, no matter if it was outside of business. Shirley Butler and taking her position beyond financial aid. These are people who are still here today helping students, and most of them are retired. And so these are people who keep me going each and every day. Looking more on a national scope, Obama. I mean, you know, I know it sounds cliche. Our first, Black president, but this man really went through so much as a world leader to bring about change that people still gave him so much negative feedback about. And he was able to get through all of that with a smile and so gracefully. I really respect how he responded and how he kept the First Family in such a positive light, and everything they did was just so graceful, and I respect it on every level, and I just wish that there were more world leaders like that.
If you could leave us with a quote of the day, what's a personal statement or something that sticks with you?
One of my favorite Gandhi quotes is, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And I like to add that in my prayer whenever I wake up every morning, in the evening, in the middle of the day. Be the change you wish to see. That's what I tell myself all the time. And so instead of, complaining or sharing observations of what's going on around me, I'm always thinking about what can I do to get involved to make that change? What can I do to get involved to be a part of the long-term change? Because a lot of things won't happen overnight. I understand that. But what can I do right now in this moment? Is it write a letter to legislation? Is it writing a letter to the alderman of my community to say, hey, this is what's going on, this is wrong? Or can I go to an elementary school, a middle school, a high school and volunteer and talk to young boys and young girls about healthy relationships and what it means to study and stay focused and do well, so that when you are graduated from high school, that you're able to get into the college of your choice, of your dreams. And so I think that's why I often spread myself thin, because I'm always feeling guilty for not doing something. And I'm the type of person that if you don't do anything about it, you shouldn't say anything about it. And so I'm always like, if I have a concern about something, what can I do to fix it? Or what can I do to bring about possible change? And that's why I'm still here at home in Milwaukee, because I love being home. This is a great city. And so outside of all the negative things that are transpiring, what can I do to be a part of positive change here and not take my talents and my education elsewhere? There's so much work to be done here. And so I'm just so happy to be home and be able to be a part of the largest technical college in the state and help students get on the path of, their hopes and dreams, because a lot of students think that the entry into a four-year institution is the only way, and that's not true. There's many other ways you could get to a four-year institution, and this is the beginning for some of our students, and this is the beginning and end for most of our students, which is fine too, because having a two-year degree can definitely get you a higher paid job. And I'm just happy that I could be able to speak to those in my community to help them get on the right path. So I would definitely say, be the change you wish to see in the world.
Thank you.
My name is Janay Alston, and this has been A Test of a Man.